Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you poem number 3, Tiger in the Zoo. This poem is prescribed in class 10 syllabus. Tiger in the Zoo, the poem is composed by Leslie Norris. Before proceeding to the poem, I am going to tell you about the poet. George Leslie Norris, his lifespan was 1921 to 2006. He was a prize winning Welsh poet and a short story writer. He is considered as most important Welsh writers of the post-war period. His literary works have won many prizes. His famous works are Finding Gold, The Loud Window, Phoenix, Living Poet series, Ransom, etc. So students, I am going to teach you the poem Tiger in the Zoo. My dear children, have you seen the tiger? Probably in the zoo, not in the open forest. You have seen the tiger in the zoo. What he is doing in the zoo? He is caged. He is walking in his limited area. Student, is this the real vision of a tiger? No. This tiger is not a tiger. It is just like a caged animal. If you want to see tiger, its features, its courage, its violence, its powers, then see the tiger in the open forest. So students, this poem, which is written by Leslie Norris, this poem describes the pain and agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. Here poet also highlights how the life would have been to the tiger if he is in jungle, if he is open forest. Here he also describes the condition of a tiger who is kept in a zoo for the fun of human beings. Students, as it is a poem, so line by line explanation is very necessary because textual questions also asked in the exams. So let's see. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his case, on pads of the velvet quiet in his quiet rage. Students, new words are there. Stalks. Stalks is a type of movement. It means follows. Few steps of his case. Few steps because he is not going on his way. He is coming, moving, turning and turning because he is following his own footsteps because he is in the cage. He move in that limited area. He stalks in his vivid strips. Vivid strips means bright full colors. The few steps. His journey is also not a long journey, but his steps are very few. How many steps he can walk? Probably 10-20 steps further, then backward, then forward, then backward. On pads of velvet quiet. Pads, paws of a tiger. His paws of a tiger are very much velvet quiet, very much smooth. They are soundless. His footfalls produce no sound because his paws are velvet. He is quiet. He is quiet. He walks in his quiet rage. But the animal is happy. If a animal like tiger is caged in a prison, he is happy. No, he is not happy. He is ferocious. He is angry, but his fury and his anger both are quiet. Students, I'm going to tell you some literary devices that are used in this stanza. First of all, I'm going to tell you about the rhyming scheme. Rhyming scheme, the rhyming lines. Because poetry, except free verse and blank verse, most of the poems are having rhymes. So, rhyme scheme of the poem is of this stanza is A B C B. C. The first line of the poem ends with strips. So, we suppose A. The second line ends with the word cage. So, we suppose it B. Pads of velvet quiet. Quiet, the last word of the third line, quiet and strips does not rhyme together, does not match in their sound. They are not equal in the sound. They are not similar in the sound. That is why it is a new alphabet we are giving for its symbol, that is C. Raise. Case and raise both are rhyming together. So its rhyming scheme is A B C B. A B C B. Next literary device that is used in this stanza is personification. Personification when animal or non-living beings are personified as human beings. As he, the tiger is pronounced he. So here the which figure of speech is there? Personification. Next figure of speech is used here, metaphor. Metaphor, where is the metaphor? Metaphor is in this line. On pad of velvet quiet. Means his paws are just like velvet. There is a comparison in the softness of his pad and in the softness of velvet. So, but in this comparison where the word like, so, as are not used, metaphor is there. And if there will be his pads are like velvet, then which figure of speech would be there, my children? It will be simile. Next, which literary device we can find here is consonance, because stalks his strips. Stalks his strips. So yes, alphabet, and that is a consonance is repeatedly used here. So here the figure of speech is consonance. Next is assonance. Assonance, you can find that his I, vivid I, and strips I. So I vowel sound is repeated. Repetition of vowel sound is known as assonance. Repetition of consonant sound is known as consonance. Next figure of speech which you can see here, and that is oxymoron. Oxymoron is where when two opposite adjectives are used in the same sentence, as quiet and raise. Quiet means sant, raise means asant, gussa. So both are opposite and the opposite adjectives are used here. So here the figure of speech is oxymoron. So I think this first stanza is clear to you. Now I proceed to the next. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where the plump deer pass. Students, this stanza explains the activities of a tiger when the tiger is free, when the tiger is not in cage, when the tiger is not a matter of fun in the zoo, when the tiger is in the jungle, when the tiger is in the forest. He should be lurking. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for your prey. जब कोई शिकार के लिए छिपता है तो उसको लर्किंग कहते हैं. He should be lurking in shadow, in the shade of anything else, in the hide of anything else. He should be lurking. He would not be here in front of everybody in a cage. If he would be in the forest, he should be lurking in shadow. Sliding through long grass. Sliding means moving very slowly without producing any sound. Sliding through long grass. Near the waterhole. Near the waterhole means often animals are hunted by violent animals just like tiger near the water point. When these animals came to the bank of river to drink water, that time they are being hunted by tiger or lion or any ferocious or violent animal. So here it is also explained that he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Plump deer pass means plump means very hefty, very healthy deer. When pass near the water point, that moment, this tiger who is appearing in the cage, helpless, he would have been sliding through the long grass at his prey. So students, what the literary, that is one rhyming scheme again same is there A, B, C, B, because here the word that is rhyming together as grass and pass. There is also use of alliteration because alliteration use of sound P at the start of two word. When the starting alphabet of any word is frequently the same word is coming, as here plump, pass, PP. Both letters are the first letter of two words or three words or more than one words. So if same alphabet is repeated, there the figure of speech is alliteration. There is also imagery because poet tries to create an image of tiger activities, lurking in shadow. Lurking in shadow, when we are listening it, an image is created in our mind. I think this stanza is also clear to you. Now we proceed to the next stanza. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle edge, wearing his white fangs is class, terrorizing the village. He should be snarling. Snarling, what do you mean by snarling? Snarling means warning sounds made by animals. A sound made by animals. Snarling. Here the figure of speech is onomatopoeia. Around houses, and the houses are where? At the jungle's edge. Wearing his white fangs is class terrorizing the village. This tiger who is a matter of fun, who is an object of fun for the visitors in the zoo, if this tiger would have been in the forest, he would not be just like this. He would have been snarling around the houses, and those houses that are made at the edge of jungle. Edge means किनारा, means जंगल के किनारे के रहने वाले लोग, जंगल के किनारे बसे हुए गांव, वो गांव के लोग डर रहे होंगे. टेरराइजिंग हिज विलेज. आज यहाँ पे in the zoo nobody is afraid of seeing a tiger, but they are not only seeing a tiger but only at the listening tiger's voice, at the listening of snarling sound of tiger, these people who would have been inhabiting in the village that are at the edge of a forest, they people will be very much afraid of. Wearing his white fangs. Fangs means sharp tooth of animal. His claws. White fangs, claws, they are all the words that explains the strength, the courage, the power and the violence of a tiger. If a tiger is free, if a violent animal is free, everybody is afraid of, then everybody will be caged in his own home. If the tiger or violent animal came, everybody will be caged in his home. But here, when the tiger is in cage, everybody is openly wandering to visit and to watch and to make fun of him. Here the rhyming scheme is same, A, B, C, B. There is also next literary device, that is onomatopoeia. I have already told you because it. Here the snarling, and snarling is the sound word. Snarling is a sound word. When a sound word is used, it identifies the figure of speech onomatopoeia. But this tiger is not in the forest. This stanza, the coming stanza, explains his condition when he is caged. But he is locked in a concrete cell. But his condition is very pitiful. He is very miserable because he is locked. He is not free in a concrete shell that is made of bricks and cement. Concrete cell. His strength behind bars. And his strength is where? It is not open. He has no opportunity to show his strength because he is behind bars. He is behind the iron rods, stalking the length of his cage. Stalking means moving. And he can stalk only to the length of his cage. इससे ज़्यादा वो नहीं टहल सकता. जितनी जगह केज में है उतना ही वो टहल पा रहा है, उतना ही वो चल पा रहा है. इसके अलावा चल नहीं पा रहा है. सो उसी अपने पिंजड़े में, अपने केज में उतना ही घूम फिर रहा है, ignoring visitors. And he is not interested to the people. If any human being is visible to a tiger in the forest, see how much tiger is interested. Differently, I think he will attack, kill him, suck the blood out of his body, and will be happy to find that unique taste. But here, what is his condition? He is ignoring the visitors. He is ignoring human beings who are laughing and making fun of him when he is caged behind, when he is imprisoned in his cage. Literary device. Here is also alliteration because the use of sound B at the start of two words, behind bars. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. This is also condition of a imprisoned tiger in the cage. He hears the last voice at the night, and at night he hears the last voice. Last voice of whom? Last voice of the persons who are guarding and who are at the vigilance. At the vigilance. Patrolling car means the guarding and who are the person that are coming there as a vigilance, and he stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. And what he did in the night? He stares, घूरता रहता है अपनी चमकीली नजरों से चमकते हुए सितारों को, and he has nothing to do, what to do, because he is caged. Students, the rhyme scheme that are also used, same rhyming scheme, and alliteration is also figure of speech is here. So students, I think the poem is clearly understood to you. In this poem, last 1, 2, last two stanzas explain the condition of tiger when he is caged. 1, 2, first stanza is also describing the condition of a tiger in his cage, and second and third stanza describes the condition, describe the pleasant condition of a tiger when he is not caged, when he is free in the forest. I hope students the poem is well understood to you, because I have highlighted all the points in this poem. Hope you understand well. If you have any problem, you can put the question in the comment box. Do not forget to subscribe it and to press the bell icon. Thank you. Have a nice day.